Just a couple of minutes, the man who needs no introduction, but he's getting one anyway, Mr. Nick Frost.
Hello.
How are you today?
Oh, stop shouting.
Oh, sorry.
Hello, yeah, I'm fine.
Can you hear if I'm here?
And now?
Yeah.
Right, fine. I felt my knee a little bit, that's why I limped on. It wasn't an affectation.
So how are you enjoying your family conference?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, obviously, there was a loud party in the room next to mine last night at 4 a.m., which I was fucking livid at. But I get it, you know, I understand. There was a cheer at one point. It sounded like 20,000 people cheering a goal. And I realised it was just John Barrowman had taken his trousers off. Kind of cheer it gets, it's kind of, it's heady. But you know, I've never, when I look at a lot of your faces now, it was more of them then. And I gotta say, hats off, I have never loved anything enough to dress up like it. And I think it's a weakness in my character that I've never been as committed to anything as a lot of you guys are, to the things that you love and that you come to see and queue up and have things signed. You know, every time I go to a con, that's what I leave with, just the passion that people portray. And I kind of like the fact that for 360 days of the year, it might be under your bed or hidden in a cupboard. And then you kind of, you know, you get the call to come and you pull it out and put it on, and you know, it's empowering. This is your city for these days. I think it's incredible. That's why I always leave with it. Just a good guy. I'm just a good guy.
We're all excited to have you here.
Thanks, mate.
And I know that the audience is very excited and have a lot of questions to ask. Have we already started lining up our questionnaires? Excellent.
There's time.
All right, we have the lovely Heather over here and the lovely Vicky over here.
Hey, Heather. Hey, Vicky.
All right.
Let's have a nice question. Nothing about my divorce.
All right, the other one to the board. You have to sit down.
Hi. It's so awesome to be here, and thank you so much for coming.
It is a pleasure, thank you.
I'm actually from the UK myself. I'm from Northern Ireland.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry. We follow.
Is it part of the UK though, really?
That is a whole other question
Right,
in
okay.
itself. Hey, I got you a skiing.
Yeah.
But
Said the word
my
escape.
question.
But it's a skier.
A skiing. Yeah, Point, Parshar, it's all there. My question was actually about Spiest. What was it like to steal a tank?
Oh God, it was amazing. Yeah, it was great. I got oddly, after we did that show, I got like asked to do a job on a presenting show for a show called Danger 50,000 Volts, and it was one person's hit. But it wasn't an amazing show, but it was about, say you're being chased by an alligator, what you do to avoid being killed by, you know, it was all that kind of stuff. And one of the segments was stealing a tank. And so there's a place in the south of England where they have a bunch of old decommissioned tanks that you can drive. And at one point, I was driving it over a car. And it was like, oh, this job is incredible. This beats waitering, hands down. The tips aren't as good, but you get to crush a car with a tank. It was amazing. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, it's Vicky over here.
First of all, you have cared about something enough to dress up for it because that's what you do for a living. But
Contractually, I'm obliged. I can't wear my own clothes. you have a thing called Mufti Day here?
I don't know what that is, but it's
Okay.
inappropriate.
So, in England, we have a thing called Mufti Day, where if you bring 50 pence to work or to school on a Friday, you can wear your own clothes. And I have a theory that it would be great if that crossed every barrier in terms of job, and even so much so when people are making films and stuff. So I imagine like a guy and a girl sitting watching a scene in a film, and then suddenly, as they cut to a different angle, the actors have their own clothes on, and like the guy just leans across to his girlfriend and says, "Hey, they shot that on a Friday."
I'm sorry, 50 what?
What?
Pence?
Pants?
Pence.
Pets? I don't know. What was your question?
Of all your projects, what's the favorite thing that you've done? In your entire career, what was the most fun that you had?
Well, Paul was amazing because I got to live in New Mexico, so I loved doing that. One day we were shooting at night, and I came out of my trailer, and there was a mother bear with 3 little cubs walking through Union Base, which was lovely, until security shot them. No bears were killed. One bear was killed. So I think Paul was pretty good. I enjoyed doing that. You can't walk away. I'm mid answer. You're just swinging your Mountain Dew, just wandering off. So, what is it? A Kirkland? Oh, right, you lost me. So Paul, and then oddly, we don't have guns at home. So you know, in space I got to kind of fire 2 guns, and in Hot Fuzz 2, and that's always a kind of a naughty cheap thrill to fire guns. So those things. You're welcome. Now you can go.
Hi. Yesterday I couldn't be here because of concussion, and my
Oh,
friend.
sex injury.
What? Was that you? Yes.
That joke doesn't seem so funny now that you're a child. It's a hilarious joke. Oh, your buddy's got a sex injury, and then now I feel.
So I'm sure you get asked this a lot, but how did you meet Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright?
Okay, so Simon Pegg had a girlfriend called Charlotte Watkins, and Charlotte worked in a restaurant called Chiquitos, which was a Mexican restaurant. It was like a bar and a cantina, and she got a job as a waitress there, and I was a waiter there. So Charlotte and I became friends, and then Simon on a Friday would come in the evenings and drink margaritas and stuff, and then the 3 of us became friends. And there was an Indian restaurant called the Pink Rupee, and every Friday night all the waiters would go after work and eat curry and drink beer. And he came along one night, and we sat opposite each other, and he got like a salt pot, and he made a noise from Star Wars of a droid, and I knew what that noise meant, and he knew that I knew. And it was at that moment that we fell deeply in love. Do the noise. Should I tell you the noise it was? Beep, 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 beep. And he did that with a salt pot, and I knew then that he was going to be the man that I'd marry. Yes, yeah.
Hi. What is your favorite British panel show?
8 out of 10 cats does countdown. Okay, sorry. I was going to do one of my awfully British laconic flippant answers there, which was actually, I don't give a shit. Churlish.
Hi. I'm a big fan of your work. The question I wanted to ask is, what has been one of your biggest challenges or thing you had to overcome comedically and acting within like all your movies?
Well, good question. Look, I never wanted to act ever. I never wanted to be an actor. I fell into the job, and I was lucky enough that I recognised that it was a great opportunity for me, and that I should probably start taking it seriously, you know. I was a good waiter. I liked being a waiter. Sometimes if a customer didn't eat all their fajita, I'd eat some of the steak while the manager wasn't looking. I was cool with that. But I think being a 30-year-old man and that being your life, I started to kind of have an inkling that potentially I needed to do more. So when I got given this opportunity to start being an actor, then maybe not even After Space, because After Space, when they paid me, I'd never been paid any money like that before in my life. And now, relatively looking back, you think it wasn't so much, But I'd never had money like that, and I spent everything they paid me in 8 weeks. Didn't save any tax money. I didn't imagine I'd ever be taxed on it, And so after doing the first season of Space, I had to go back to Wakery, which was an odd thing because Space came on, and at points people would say, "Hey, can we have the bill, please?" I said, "Sure." He said, "Are you Mike from Space?" And it was weird. I felt ashamed, oddly, in a way, when I shouldn't have. But I realised that I had to do something. It wasn't enough just bumbling along like Mike or Ed. It wasn't enough. And so when I was handed this opportunity to be an actor, and I did it, and I continued to try and to learn and to listen and to try and recognise opportunity. I think that's very important. And I'm also really lucky, I think, and I never forget that. But day to day, learning lines is shit. Having to learn dialogue is, I hate it. If ever there's a contact lens comes out, which is essentially auto cue that no one can see, then I'm all over that. But you can get that thing that's when you become lazy and not committed to the job, where you get the sound engineer to put a little grommet in, and essentially someone sits off camera and just reads your lines to you a line before you're meant to deliver it. And some actors say, well, it just keeps it fresh. It's like I've never said it before.
Do you still do some waiting on the line?
I do, if I can, yeah. I was working down at Five Guys this weekend. I don't know, I worked in the kitchen. I got to a point with, I think potentially probably like a lot of people here, I hate human beings. And it got to a point being a waiter where you kind of think, oh, get lost, I think that the straw for me that broke the camel's back is a woman ordered a rack of ribs, and I went back to see if she was alright, and she went, these have bones in. Oh my God, kill yourself. So yeah, I moved into the kitchen, so I worked in the kitchen for 5 years then, so I was on the line, just grilling steak and firing singles chicken fajitas.
Sounds delicious.
I liked it a lot.
First off, thank you for coming to DragonCon.
My pleasure. Thank
It's
you.
been an absolute pleasure meeting you and listening to you talk. My question for you is, do you have an idea for your next tattoo?
Oh, yes. Well, I'm just about to have another child. So thank you very much. I have children. I started really late, so I'm almost 50 now. So my first son, I got like a big flamboyant tattoo over my heart, thinking I'm never going to have any more kids. And now I'm having another kid. So my current partner, who kind of works in the industry, and she knows what billing means. So she was saying, hey, now, the new kid, it kind of has to have the same billing as your current child. So I need to find a place now which has enough space that I can put his name at the same size. So yeah, unfortunately, I'm not going to tell you his name, but his name can also be a picture, so I might just get the picture. But also, it's just my tattoos are just not shit. It's just not. I have a friend called Danny Brown. And whenever I get a tattoo, he always calls it the San Quentin sketchbook. Inked on you with like a needle and
Like a tape recorder.
Yes. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Ketchup.
Hello.
I was wondering, I believe Tom did sort of like the ice cream.
Let me just stop you there, sorry. That's the wonderful thing about comms too, where you say hello to ketchup. It's not second guess, it's just like, hello ketchup.
Well, I was wondering, what kind of movie would ketchup flavored ice cream be?
Oh, it has to be a horror film, right? Where Heston Blumenthal gets killed. Do you know who Heston Blumenthal is? No, fine. This one woman does. That's fine. That's good enough. Yeah, it would have to be a horror film, right? I guess. Thank you, man. Thank you, Ketchup.
Put the logos of mine on the cover Ketchup.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hello.
Unfortunately, I'm not a condiment.
I wish you'd been mustard. Oh, did you?
No, just betting. I'm curious, if you got the option to choose what your superpowers would be, what would they be, and where do you think you would fall on the spectrum of like villainy or heroism?
Now the 20-year-old boy me says the ability to see through underwear. And the 47-year-old is going to give you the same answer. Flight's an obvious one, because that kind of would be cool. I'd save a lot on airfare. But I'd have to get, perhaps, if I could join it, I could say to BA, could I still get air miles? Could I still be part of the executive club, even if I fly myself across the Atlantic? I don't know, I mean, Doctor Strange is cool because he can just do anything. You know, I kind of like the ability to change things at an atomic level at will. So, I mean, that's everything, isn't it, really? So that, what was B? Was there a second part to that? Oh, not really, I mean, no. That came out a lot worse than I imagined it. In a brief second, as I feel you answering it, my mind said, yeah, it's going to sound amazing, and then it came out.
There's a lot on it.
Yeah, it does, emotionally.
Hi, I'm Julie.
Hello.
I'm not Ketchup, but I am Hufflepuffs. My question was actually about Salsa, which love that movie.
Yeah.
And I was wondering how much fear of dancing you did in that, or if you were kind of out of your comfort zone doing that, or it's kind of good. I thought you did a great job. So.
Oh yeah, well, I did a dance film called Human Fury, which it was my idea, and I kind of wrote the story to it. And the story behind it is I wrote a really drunken email one night at 3 a.m. to Nairo, who's the producer who made Shaun and Paul and Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead, and essentially said I want to do a film where I dance throughout the whole film, like a proper big Fred Astaire, you know. So those films are amazing. You think those people did all that dance, you know, it's incredible. And at 3 a.m. I sent it, and then woke up in the morning and saw that I'd sent it, and there was a reply from Naira already saying, hey, this is amazing, let's get this going. And I was like, oh my God, what have you done? But I think in sending it, I knew that would be the outcome. So I think it was like a serial killer wanting to get caught. And so that set it in motion, you know. We found a great writer called John Brown, and he wrote a script, and even in meetings with the people that finally financed the film, I did that thing where I was talking and I could hear me talking, and then the other me was saying, what are you saying? What are you saying? I mean, saying, hey, I want to do all the dancing, so I did all the dancing. And so to train to do that film, I trained for 7 hours a day, every day for 7 months, before we shot a foot of film. And I think that's why my knees are kind of bad, you know. I don't think a 20-stone man should ever be doing that much training. But at first, I hated it. I hated doing it. And I think there were days when I just come back and I'd lay in the bath and crying and thinking, what are you doing? What are you doing? Because you're essentially in a mirrored box, and you can see, you know, for someone who potentially has, you know, body issues anyway, having to watch yourself murdering someone else's culture 7 hours a day is an awful thing to do. And it was only until, you know, I was 3 or 4 months in, which is ages. It doesn't seem a long time, but if you were in prison with a lunatic, it would be forever. It was only like one morning we were all dancing, and I looked, and it looked the same as what they were doing. And I thought, hey, we could do this, you know. But it never got easier, because the better you got then, the more the harder it became. But yeah, I did it all. I wanted to do it all. We did it all. It did pretty well in Britain, but it did like $60 here. Which is kind of but the year it came out, which was like 3 or 4 years ago, there was like an article in what's that kind of film magazine, like E or Entertainment Weekly. Thank you so much. There was a thing that came out which was state by state films which were the most BitTorrented. And in Florida, Human Fury was number one. I'm all right with that, I'm happy. Thank you.
So no turns across the floor with you and Rachel Riley on Dancing with the Stars?
Oh God, no, I don't think I'd be allowed to dance with Rachel Riley. It'd be awful. I'd be having another son.
What's that?
So I think this question actually just got answered, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. But
I'll answer it like I'd never said it.
Great. Well, you're an actor, so you have to answer it. I wrote a paper on Hot Fuzz called Hot Duff, where I compared it to Macbeth, but told from the story, the perspective of Macduff at the very end of the play, Act 5. And I was just wondering if you had any moments in your career or your, silly movies that you then realized later was like changing the world or how people see comedy.
Oh, well, I did a film called Human Fury. When we did Shaun of the Dead, we did like a massive press tour in the States, and we ended up doing like 20 cities I think we did 26 cities in 30 days or something ridiculous like that. And then, every day was the same. We'd get up, we'd do press all day, and then we'd fly to another city, and then we'd go straight from the airport to introduce the film. And then while the film was on, we'd have something to eat, and then we'd come back to stick our heads through the cinema to see different parts of the film to see how it was going down. So when we did the Shaun of the Dead press tour, we'd always want to get back for when Ed turns the camera on through see what reaction that got. And going in every day to cinemas for people who didn't really know us, I guess, it was kind of great. It was a pretty nice thing. But the difference between that and then when we came back to do the Hot Fuzz one was amazing. We felt like a kind of mid-sized rock band every night. And it was at that, I think at that point we realised that people really liked Shaun of the Dead, and it made us feel like we were doing something right, I think. And that was the point when we'd go in and people really, cheered a lot, gave us bags of space cakes. So the space cakes is the answer.
I have to say, I really enjoyed Shaun of the Dead. I hate zombie movies, but that movie made me go to the theater to watch it.
Yeah, I guess even though Shaun of the Dead is a zombie movie, it's a movie about a man's shitty life and his need to try and be a better boyfriend. And it just so happens that the zombie apocalypse is happening behind him.
And it's a friend as well. It's a friend, it's a buddy.
Yeah, it is yeah. Even at the end when he's doing a massive fart as he's dying, to a zombie.
Hi, I wanted to ask you, what's a piece of media, be it film, television, or book, that you're a big fan of, but you feel like more people should know about because maybe it's not as readily heard of?
There's a sitcom that I really like, about three guys, 3 girls, and they live in New York. They're friends. Oh, I don't. Let me think. I really love this guy. He's a journalist, but he's also a cartoonist called Joe Sacco. And if you get a chance to read some of his stuff, it's fantastic. There's one called Israel, Palestine, and Peace, and I'm sorry. It's about him going to these places and kind of getting to the bottom of like the atrocities in Serbia and Gorazda. They're just fantastic. I love them. I think they're fantastic. So kind of that's the thing I enjoy. I draw a bit. I know it's not like a thing that any of you should be seeing, and it's terrible. It's really difficult. I do. My dad was an artist, and so From my efforts, I think it's probably skipped a generation, which means that my son might be pretty good. But yeah, I've just kind of started to try and draw a bit more. So I just draw faces, like hundreds of faces. My girlfriend looked at my book and said, "Are you lonely? Are you all right?" I've got a real, "Yeah, I'm fine, just fine." And then look at all the paintings in my house and all their portraits too. I'm like, oh, maybe I am a bit lonely. It's a cry for help. Thanks for your question.
That's really cool.
Not if you see.
Thank you again for being here. My question, after learning your martial arts or whatever training you did for Badlands, when do you most often want to like chain punch someone down to the ground?
Honestly, probably every day. At some point, I think I need to wander off now and draw a face. Just like draw a face. I don't know. It gets less as I get older. But I have a child, so whenever I feel cross, it's always usually someone secretly taking a picture of me and my kid. And I think that's just one big, just too much. Because if you ask, I'm happy to have a picture at any point. But, you know, don't. Oh, hey, how are you? Because I can see that. But yeah, just my kid. You know, I'm like a big papa bear around that little lump. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your question.
Miss Heather.
Now, I'm Charlie from Birmingham, not to be confused with Charlie from Birmingham. And I wanted to ask about hyperdrive, which
Am I drunk? What do you say?
Hyperdrive.
Oh,
Don't answer the first one.
yeah, I'm a bit drunk.
But yeah, I really enjoyed the series, and it always just kind of struck me as, especially coming from your background as a big fan of like Star Wars and a lot of sci-fi media, and coming into the show where it's, I guess the premise was just taking like something wondrous and amazing like that whole idea of like being in space and a sci-fi adventure and everything like that, and kind of making it a little bit more like procedural, a little gory, and hilarious at the same time.
Yeah, it was a TV show that we did a long time ago called Hyperdrive, and it was 2 seasons, and it was essentially a British spaceship getting into it. It was a bit like Star Trek, but it was a very British spaceship, and we were essentially really, really rubbish. And yeah, we ran for 2 seasons, and I kind of loved it. I loved the show. I loved doing it. But I think someone new came along in terms of commissioners and didn't want to recommission it, which was kind of crazy because it was fun to do. But I think most of those people that I worked on that job with, I'm still good friends with. So, you know, like most of these things, it's nice and fun to watch because it's a bit rubbish and we all know it, and we're good with that. Thank you.
Those BBC commissioners.
Yeah.
What do they know?
What do they know? Oh. Are you alright?
Hello.
Hello.
What do you love most about your favorite fandom?
About what's up?
What do you love most about your favorite fandom?
What do I love most about my favourite fandom? Oh my god. I don't know. Look, I mean, I think my favourite fandom is supporting West Ham United, which is a football team. And, no, don't. It's the beginning of the football season at home in England, and we're 4 games in, and we haven't won one of them. We haven't got a point. We've lost every game. And so, you know, I guess like being a fan of most things, that you get disappointed with the event at some point. But I don't know. I think Star Wars, the whole lot of it has been a big part of my life. I guess. My 7-year-old now, we're at a lovely age where he would say, "Can we put Empire on?" I'm like, "Yeah, we can." Oh yeah. I've kept him from the first 3. That's up to him. Like it or not, you know, that's up to him to decide. Like a mate of mine, his son's like 13, and he was telling me the other day, we were at lunch, he was telling me how much he loved Jar Jar in the first one. I was like, fuck yourself, kid. But again, I'm about people making their own choices. So, but my son is 60, he can decide to watch my. But that, you know, I think I'm a fan of seeing, my kid grow up and watch things, and I do that thing where I watch him watching things, which is, great. Thanks, mate. Cheers. Thank you. I also hit him a lot, so. No, too right.
Hey, how are you?
Sorry, let me just, it's always open-handed.
Just a quick question. Did you have any comedic influences, and who were they? Like any Young Ones or Monty Python?
Oh yeah, I love the Young Ones. The Young Ones was the first thing I remember. Well, I think Monty Python was a tiny bit. I was a little bit young for it first time round. Now I can watch it. I love it. I love Dad's Army. If any of you got a chance to watch Dad's Army, it's the most British thing in the world, and it's incredible. It's essentially about a group of very old soldiers, and it's our version of the National Guard. And they live in a little village in the south of England during the Second World War. But as a young man, I remember watching it thinking, oh, it's a documentary. I didn't realise I'd made it in the 70s. It's kind of amazing when you watch that. But yeah, the Young Ones was the first thing that, it used to be on at 9 p.m. on a Thursday evening, I think. And my mum and dad would let me stay up and watch it. And I remember that's one of the first things as a family that we'd watch. And we'd all laugh at the same thing. So when Vivian stamped on his hamster till it was flat like a slice of bread, and then put it in the toaster and toasted it, we all laughed at that, And that's the first thing, and one of the only things that I remember the three of us really, really laughing at,
What was the best episode with band in it that you liked?
What was the best episode? Oh God, I don't know. TBC, let me think about it. I'll shout it out just randomly and people think I've lost my mind. Oh, the one with the Damned. Sorry, there we go. The episode with the Damned. The band The Damned. Okay.
Hi, thanks very much for being here.
Thank you.
I remember reading after Shaun of the Dead came out that you and Simon did a screening for George Romero, and I just wanted to know what he thought of it and what did he say about the movie?
It was Edgar and Simon did it. I sadly never met George. But he loved it. I think he was a really big fan. I think he was flattered that essentially it was a love letter to him. Sorry. I feel responsible for his death then. No, that was Edgar and Simon again. I couldn't do it. It was Edgar and Simon. They get all the fun.
Hi.
Hello, mate.
You go to a whole lot of conventions and great people come out. My question is, what's either a project you've worked on or a story from something you've worked on that in all of these things nobody ever asks about, and you think to yourself, man, I wish somebody would ask about whatever, and they don't.
Shaun of the Dead? No, I think if people haven't asked about them, there's probably a reason. I've done a couple of bad things that I wouldn't want anyone to know about or see. So. No, I think I'm pretty lucky that I guess people like the majority of things that we've done as a group. So I'm just happy that anyone would come and sit and listen. Thanks, mate. I'm sorry my answer was shit.
Hi there.
Hello.
I just wanted to ask, you get to talk about your films and everything, but is there a charitable cause or something that you support that you want to get the word out about that you'd like to take a second to tell us about?
Oh my God, it's like my mother planted you. That's like my parole officer put you here.
West Ham United?
No, don't support West Ham. I don't know. If we're being serious a second, I would say, I don't know, mental health issues. I've been, I spent most of my life kind of hiding from or running to or away from depression in some way, shape or form. So I think now we're living in an era where everyone, perhaps not everyone obviously, but it feels slightly happier to talk about that and to pick up a phone or to talk to a friend or to, I think, more power to that. I think it's important people understand they're not alone, and there are a lot of people who perhaps feel shit a lot of the time, you know, or just see those kind of little chinks of light, and that's kind of enough sometimes, you know. Happy now? Please don't let this be about my favourite ice cream. Imagine if ketchup came after that. That would have been awful.
I was going to ask about chip dip. No, I wanted to ask about your upcoming movie, Slaughterhouse Rules. I was very excited when I saw the trailer. It looks great. So could you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, Slaughterhouse Rules is a film that Simon and I we're in. We've produced it, and Crispin Mills, who's Simon's, a friend and director, he's directed it, and it's essentially rich, posh children at a school get eaten by a very big monster. And I think it's a film that we're ready for now. I think we need it. I think Simon's in it quite a lot. I'm in it a little bit, but my performance is powerful. Yes. Yeah. What franchise? You can say it. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. That'd be cool, right? Just a really weird ending that she wrote. I think there are 4 different houses in our thing too, but they're nothing like Harry Potter. It's like Hifflepuff and Snoglin and I can't think of the others. Blunderbuss. I don't know.
On that, if a big monster did break into Hogwarts,
yes.
What order do you think the kids would be keeping between Ron, Hermione, and Harry?
Oh, I couldn't give a shit. Well, I'll answer it because we're here at DragonCon. I'd like to see Harry eat first. That'd learn him. And then I'd like to see Hermione watch Ron get eaten. I'm the guy I am. And then finally, I'd like to see a big monster eat Hermione. Thank you for your question.
Hey Nick, my name's Tim, I'm a fan. But I have a friend over there named Jason who's a bigger fan and he's shyer than me, so.
Hey Jason.
I'm gonna ask this question.
Come on, stand up, let me just see you.
Come on Jason, stand
Let's
up.
all see you.
Stand up, Jason.
Hey!
The question that he and I want to know is if you could choose to reboot any show or movie, what would you do and who would you play?
Oh my god.
Obviously not Harry Potter.
No. Look, I think I'm hobbled by my size in terms of characters I can play, but I'd like to be a Bond villain. I said this in the other panel I was in the other day. And my Bond villain look is white or gold speedos. And that's it. And then I've got like maybe long hair with a big scar, and I'd have like a hyena on a big gold chain, and I'd have like an old mobile. That's what I long for. Thanks. I always get offered as well. I get offered to shoot the cover of a magazine called All American Bear. Sometimes I'm thinking, well, fuck it, I'm going to do it. Why not? But what I pitched to them was my idea for my cover, look would be tiny white chaps, white leather pants, and like a white cowboy's fringed vest with 2 tiny pearl-handled pistols, like a little hat, like a fascinator, right forward, and then the graphics would say pew pew. This would be my pose. That would be my pose. So
I think we just started a whole slash fic.
Yeah, listen. Any others?
Hey, Brian, I just want to say thank goodness for humor, and thank you for giving that to us.
Thank goodness for humor, right?
Yeah. Right now.
What would we do?
I've got a question and a request.
Yeah.
Your favorite American comedian, living or dead, and why?
I don't know if he's a comedian as such, but I love to watch John C. Reilly act. He's amazing, and he makes me laugh, and I love Steve Carell. He's amazing. You know, I'm a kind of an idiot when people put me on the spot with answers like that, but
My request is, please make a Christmas album with William Shatner.
what an amazing thing that would be. All right. We'd have to do White Christmas like Bing and David Bowie, right? Yeah, I think getting him to dress like David Bowie would be the thing. Hello.
Thank you for coming. We're super excited to have you with us.
Thanks for having me.
My question for you is, out of the Cornetto trilogies, was there ever a scene that you guys absolutely could not get through out of laughing hysterically and breaking character?
It's difficult when we shoot those films because we don't have much time, and Edgar is a dick sometimes. Where it's not like, I think people imagine us just having a laugh, you know, just whooping it up, and we'd never do any work. But we have a strong work ethic, so we work. So whenever we're allowed a couple of laughs, but then if it gets too much, from behind the monitor you'll hear this, "Oh, come on guys." And when you hear Edgar's voice say that, you know he's kind of pissed, so you just have to get it together. But sometimes it's just difficult, you know. I think when we did Hot Fuzz, Carl, who plays the, there you go, he's kind of speaks like that. What's he, I forget his name. But there's that one line where the camera just pans off him, and you hear him say, "Cox." We couldn't get through that. That was difficult. And then any scene with Paddy Considine, because Paddy is, he's a fantastic actor, but he's also one of the naughtiest people in the world. And he doesn't give a shit who knows, or so it's hard working with Paddy because he'll just talk right up until the point where we start shoot, like a second before we start shooting. And if he says something in that 1 second, it just kind of stays with you, and then you're thinking about it, and then it gets you as you're moving on, you know. So working with Paddy is kind of impossible to do, but amazing.
So since you didn't plan to be an actor as you grew up and talked about it being a little awkward when you were acting and waiting at the same time, are there any stories about arch nemeses or childhood bullies or situations where you're just starting to get famous that were super enjoyable, where you're like, yeah.
Oh, my arch nemesis, that's amazing. I guess girls, you know, there was a girl that I really liked, and she wanted to be an actor, and I didn't, but was more successful than her, and she was way out of my league, but you know, I wooed her, and then it all kind of went wrong, and I felt very sad because she hated me now, but I was in Tintin with Spielberg, so you know, just petty things like that perhaps now I'm studying mindfulness I should let go of, but somehow can't. I don't really have many enemies as such, or arch nemesis as you said, but I wish I did have one. I mean, I'm not trying hard enough. Thanks for your question. It's brought back a lot of horror for me.
I was wondering if Nicholas Angel is named after the guy that works in your music department on a couple of the films, or if you think
No, just a coincidence. Nick Angel does the music. He's the music supervisor, and he is a lovely, lovely man. He's very clever, and he's a big white cockney. But no, it's just a coincidence because he had to be an angel. I think we've got time for 50 more questions.
Hey Nick, I'm Nick.
Good.
And I was gonna ask, do you ever go back and watch films you've acted in, and what's that like for you if you do?
I don't know. I'm not going to give that answer that some actors give when they're trying to be mysterious, where they say, I just don't watch anything I've ever made, because it's a lie. All actors must look at themselves at some point. It's what compels us, I think. I watch bits every now and again, and when we're doing a press tour, you kind of watch it a lot. But I think if I'm in a hotel or I'm with my partner and we can get back and Paul's on, I'll probably watch Paul. I enjoy watching that film a lot. Yeah, it's kind of fun, but also you're quite critical of, could have done that differently, some of it's fun, and some of it you can see yourself acting in certain scenes, and that's kind of off-putting, because then you just get a bit critical of your performance, when you just enjoy it as a pantomime. Thanks.
Are you very self-critical?
No, listen, I think you learn to trust your director. I think that kind of self-criticism, is that right? I think it can kind of destroy you and eat you up, and you never know what the right answer is at that point. So I think if you can trust the people around you, that when the director says, okay, let's move on, that he's got it, and you should just let it go. Otherwise, you could essentially never stop making a scene because you're never quite happy with any version of it. You just have to move on and know that even if he hasn't got it 100%, then the editing can fix it, or we can reshoot the thing, and it's not live, and it's, just trust in the process.
Hello, Mr. Frost. I think you're lovely.
Thanks.
You're welcome. And Paul, you and Simon Pegg kind of have a few jokes about two British guys coming to an American convention. And I'm curious as to, over the course of your career, if there was a really big culture shock moment when promoting movies or just doing a movie in another country.
Right. Well, okay. So when Simon and I did our research for Paul, we hired an RV and we drove the whole trip that Graham and Clive drive in the film. So we went to Area 51, and then we drove up through Utah and Wyoming and North and South Dakota. We did the whole thing, and it took us ages, and it was kind of amazing. We went to this place called the Little Alien, which is featured in the film too. But when we got there, there was no one in the place. It was just Pat, the lady who runs it, and her daughter, and just me and Simon, because obviously we were big X-Files fans, and we were kind of bowling around like we owned the place slightly, and we were chatting and flirting with the guys, and then two massive men came in wearing ghillie suits, like men we don't encounter in Britain. And then suddenly Simon and I just became really quiet. And we kept it in the film. So when Jesse Plemons and David Koechner come in to the Little Alien, they do what those guys did. So essentially me and Simon were like, okay, come on, we should go, let's just go. Come on, let's go. I think that was for us, a moment where we were like, hey, we are not in Kansas anymore. We're in Arizona. We are not in Kent anymore. Thanks for the question.
Hi. In a lot of Edgar Wright's films, there's a lot of foreshadowing that maybe you don't pick up on right away, but when you rewatch, you see a lot of it. And like you said with the Cornetto trilogy, you guys had to do it really quickly, and I'm sure a lot of it is written, but I wonder if there's any improv moments where you're kind of filming something later on, and you realize like, hey, that kind of ties into something we did a few days ago. Can we bring that back?
Yeah, no, we don't improvise at all. We have a long rehearsal process, so they'll write the script, and then I have a little read of it over a week, and then the three of us sit down, and then the rest of the cast come in, and we rehearse, and then anything fun that comes up in those rehearsals, if it works and it's funny, then it goes into the shooting script. Because when we come to shoot, we don't have time to end this, because Edgar likes to shoot on film too, so it's expensive when you're all improvising at the end of a scene and it's not getting anywhere, and you can hear film money just pissing at the bottom of the camera. So we do it all in rehearsal, and if it's funny, it stays in. That's it.
Hi, how
Hello.
are you?
Good.
My question is, I have a 16-year-old son, has not seen any of your movies. Which one would you recommend starting him off with?
Oh, go for Shaun of the Dead, right? Let's let him watch. What is it? watch Shaun of the Dead. I think you're ready. Look at the size of him. I think he's ready to watch a man be eviscerated. The first place we showed Shaun of the Dead was, I think, in Dallas, in Texas. And we did a Q&A afterwards, and we were chatting like this, and we noticed that there was a man sat in the front with a 2-year-old baby. And it had sat throughout the whole film and watched Shaun of the Dead. I wonder where that baby is now. Watched an evisceration. Hey, share the joke. What that was? Oh, I see. Hello.
Have you seen the Kinky Boots musical, and what did you think of it?
I'll say it again, I'm so sorry, I didn't hear.
Have you seen the Kinky Boots musical, and what did you think of it?
I have never seen the Kinky Boots musical, no. I've never been invited, but I thought it was great.
All right, we have time for maybe just a couple more.
Oh, I want to know what the wizard's question is. Okay, let's do it quick and get to the wizard.
What was the decision behind you being the serious friend in World's End? Because it kind of resonated a lot with me and a lot of friends. So you were the goofy friend, but then you kind of decided to grow up, and your friends are like, "Be the goofy one again." We're like, "No, that nearly killed me."
Yeah, but that's the answer. You know, we got to a point where when we made Shaun of the Dead, I mean, what was the time difference? Like 10, 12 years between making those films, and people evolve. You know, people change, and that's what we wanted to kind of do with Andy, is that he, as a lot of us were, drank too much, were idiots at college or at school, and then you just kind of grow out of it, you know. That's what you answered your own question. Brilliantly, I may add.
Hello, Nick. Again, thanks for coming out. Quick little comment and a question. The next time you feel that little tinge of depression ever coming on, look at this room of people.
Yes,
I remember the testament of Jim Hackett. You didn't call any one of us.
Listen, I've got to say, I think as a lot of us know, that's not what depression is. You know, it doesn't allow you that. You can be in this, and you can still feel utterly alone. You know.
True.
But I get what you're saying. I don't want to.
Exactly.
Quick question. If you all naked, that might cheer me up.
That will help. My question is, have you seen any of the Mission Impossible films and seen Simon as Benji and said, really? Really?
No, not at all. I've seen a lot of them, but Simon wasn't in. I didn't, one of the Star Treks that Simon wasn't in, was in, I'm so sorry. I didn't see for like 4 years. I just didn't get round to seeing it for some reason. And then we were doing a press tour, I think we were in Boston, and we had the day off, so I went and I watched it. I bought it on, you drinking hooch? Oh my God. I think you got a problem, lady. So I went out and I bought it on like VOD and I watched it. And then in front of 1,000 people at a Q&A, I got down on my knees and apologised for not seeing it. So yes, I tried to watch them all. Thank you for your question.
We've got time enough for one more on
It's
the
the
side,
wizard.
real quick.
Okay, fine.
I just wanted to ask, how did the cameo on Phineas and Ferb with you and Simon come about?
Oh, just because we know Swampy Marsh a little bit. And he's a good guy and he said, do you want to do it? And it was like, yeah, absolutely, why not? It was a short answer, I'm sorry. Oh God, I hope this isn't about space.
So my question is, I'm just getting through the first time talking for Peter. What is your biggest guilty pleasure, be it food, media, whatnot?
Ex-hamster. There was a really weird silence there for a minute. I thought I might have lost a lot of you. I'd say wedding cake or Christmas cake. I mean, any time that I can just be at home alone with the telly on, watching Ex-Hamster, drinking hot tea and eating a big slice of wedding cake. I think that's where you'll find me. Thank you for your question. Can I just say, sorry, before we all go, thank you, Robert, for having me. But thank you for having me at DragonCon. I've had an absolute blast, and I go back to London this afternoon. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you. coming out. There's a film called Slaughterhouse Rules, as we talked about. That's coming out, and then I did a film with The Rock, where I play the rest of the Page's dad. So I think that's out sometime if you want to see me in tight spandex. Thank you.